Welcome back to the Mountain Man Medical YouTube channel. Thanks for hanging out. Today we're going to talk about the highest value, lowest cost trauma kit on the market, the Sweetwater. Hang out, we're going to talk about that next. All right guys, so today we're going to be talking a little bit about the philosophy behind Mountain Man Medical. So when I started to get into this company, the whole point of me getting into this job is to help more people. So I thought I could do that by coming out with some decent trauma kits that I knew were going to be quality, things that I was going to be comfortable using on my friends and family and on me. So I wanted this stuff to work. So I wanted it to be good quality stuff that I know is going to work, things that I've used myself, and I want to stock our trauma kits with that. It doesn't do me any good whatsoever to sell trauma kits if you don't know how to use the items that are in it. So we came out with the emergency trauma response course. This is a completely free course. I think it's an hour and 17 minutes long or so, and it's made up of a bunch of different episodes. So you can watch them all at one time, come back through, watch a couple of them at a time, whatever the case is. And you can also have friends and family members nearby to watch the videos with you so that you can practice all of the things that are in the video. So that way you know how to use all of the items that are in your trauma kit. The other point that we want to do here at Mountain Man Medical is make trauma gear available to as many people as possible. It doesn't matter what your budget is, everybody deserves to have a good quality trauma kit available to them to save themselves or somebody else. So this is why we came up with the Sweetwater. We wanted to have the essential items that are in it, but really pare it down so that it's only the essential things and none of the extra stuff. So that you can buy a trauma kit and then essentially stock it out with more things as your budget allows. So let's get into the kit and kind of go through some of the things that are in it so that'll help you kind of understand why this kit might work the best for you. This is the Sweetwater trauma kit. It is in the same packaging as our Yellowstone. It just has some different items in it. Up front, you're going to have the Mountain Man Medical patch and then your regular medical patch. So everybody knows that this is where your trauma gear is located. We don't want to hide this. We want it to be easily accessible and recognizable as the trauma kit. So if you tell somebody, go grab the trauma kit underneath my seat, and they run under there, this is what they're going to see. They're going to know that this is where your trauma stuff is at. So it makes it easily identifiable so that anybody can go and grab it. Pull tabs, same as on all our kits, extra upgraded zippers because those are the things that are going to fail on you first. Molly gear in the back so that you can attach this to your war belt, to your regular belt, your backpack, whatever the case is, and a nice grab handle so that you can pull it up out of the bottom of your backpack if you need to. On the inside, we're going to have some trauma shears. I like to place these on the outside in the back so that they're easily accessible. And I'll take one of these loops, run it through one of the holes, the thumb holes of the scissors, and keep those stowed nice and easily on the outside of the kit so that I can use them whenever I need to. On the inside of the kit, we're going to have a permanent marker, and this is going to be useful for writing down vital signs, addresses, tourniquet times, anything else that you'll need a permanent marker for out in the field. In the back, we're going to have 2 pairs of trauma gloves, nitrile blue so that you can see blood if you're doing a blood sweep on your casualties, and an extra pair in case you rip through the first pair or you need to pass these off to a secondary bystander who's going to be assisting you in taking care of these casualties. Back behind that, we have a trauma dressing. This is the emergency trauma dressing by North American Rescue. Very small and compact, but will help to keep your wound packing in place after you've packed a junctional wound. And again, we'll talk about all of that in the emergency trauma response course, so that way you're trained up and ready to go and use all the items that are in the kit. Back behind that, on top of that, we've got an elastic bandage. This is essentially an ACE wrap. It's stretchy and it has a hook and loop securing so that it'll stick to itself. You don't have to worry about those nasty little clips coming off, getting lost. This will just work really well for you. This is an additional pressure dressing that you can use. So you pack a wound and then wrap this around. That'll keep that gauze nice and tight down against that artery to control your bleeding. Or you can wrap your sports injuries, anything else that you need to use, a multi-use item. So I like to stock my trauma kits with multi-use items. These are things that I can use for multiple wounds. It's okay to have purpose-built, very directly intended items in your kit, so things that are only intended to take care of one thing. But we want to be thinking about how we can use these items in a multitude of different ways so that we can handle a multitude of different wounds. We never know what we're going to run into. We don't know the extent of the wounds, and we might need to improvise with our own materials in order to make this happen, save the day, win the day, save the casualty, that might be something we're gonna need to do. So an elastic bandage is one of those great items, and the other incredible multi-use item is going to be your Swat Tea. I've got a ton of videos talking about why the Swat Tea is so awesome and important. This is another multi-use item. It's also a good tourniquet. It's not the best out there on the market, but this one will work to control bleeding very, very well, but you can also use it as a pressure dressing, chest seal, sling, bunch of other things that you might be able to need it for. So one of the best tourniquets out there on the market, and that comes stock in the kit, but you can also upgrade it if you so desire to the cat tourniquet or the soft tea. So what I would recommend that you do is you keep the Swat Tea in your kit, and if you need to purchase a secondary tourniquet, or actually this will be a primary tourniquet, this one will become your backup tourniquet. So then this one you can apply quickly to an arm or a leg to control bleeding, and if you have two arms and legs that are injured, now you've got two tourniquets that can handle both of those injuries. One that's going to be quick and easy to apply. This one, not quite so quick and easy, but still a substantially good tourniquet. You just need to know how to use them. So make sure you're watching that video so that you can actually help when it comes time for it. And now the last item that we have in this kit is just going to be a little bit of gauze. And now this is not a substantial amount of gauze. This is going to handle a smallish type of wound. If you need to, you can improvise by using the trauma shears, cut a couple of strips off of the t-shirt of the casualty, and you can use those to pack the wound as well. But if you want to upgrade this kit, say as your budget allows, you can add some items in it that will help substantially to increase the effectiveness of the kit. This, for example, is a great item for that because this is a very cheap, this is crinkle gauze by Dynarex, and this does not have the hemostatic agent in it, which means it won't help the blood to clot more quickly. But the primary goal of wound packing is to pack the gauze down into the wound so that it gets on top of that artery and closes off that artery with direct pressure. So you're still going to be able to do a lot of bleeding control with this. You're just not going to have the added benefit of the hemostatic gauze. So don't let that deter you. This is not quite as good as your quick clot because the quick clot has the hemostatic agent in it, but it's still going to be very effective at controlling bleeding. So if you need to pack a wound, you need a lot of gauze, which you might depending on the size of the wound. This is what you're going to need. Add one of these to your kit, and that'll help quite a bit for the effectiveness overall for the quality of the kit. Now, as your budget allows and you can start buying some pricier materials, I would recommend going for your quick clot. This is the Z-folded quick clot, so there's a lot of gauze in this. You can fill up quite a big wound with this particular one. And then there's also the Gauze XR Pro version, and this is an excellent product as well. Now, these are a little more pricey, right? They can get up there a little bit. This is why we left them out of the trauma kit, because we can still get a majority of our bleeding control with that gauze. But if I've got the option, I'm going to go with something that's got the hemostatic agent, right? That added benefit of the bleeding control is going to be really important when it comes to wound packing. So if I've got the option, I'm going to run with the Gauze, but if my budget doesn't allow, then I'm going to run the Dynarex crinkle gauze. This is not quite as good, but very, very close, and you're still going to get a lot of good bleeding control with wound packing with just this one product. So as your budget allows, upgrade your kit to better and better products. The Sweetwater Trauma Kit has got everything in it for the basics of bleeding control. So if you have somebody who is really hurt and you have this trauma kit, there's a good chance that you'll be able to save their life if you know what you're doing. So get the training, know what you're doing, and this trauma kit is one of the most effective on the market, the highest value for the lowest cost out there. Pick yourself up one, head over to mountainmanmedical.com, check out our Yellowstone, Wind River, and Sweetwater trauma kits. Be ready for whatever the mountain throws at you. I'll catch you guys in the next one.